everybody, this is Nancy and I'm here with Joseph, owner of Casa Azul Coffee.
What's up? How are you?
Great, thank you. I'm super excited to be here. Thank you for your time and sharing your space. This is such an awesome place.
Thanks for the opportunity.
Absolutely. So we're going to get to know you personally. So it's a treat for all of us. And Casa Azul offers the superb coffee, I'm telling you from trying it personally, with the Latin twist que está sabrosísimo. Entonces, Joseph, tell us a little bit about you. Where are you from?
Yeah, born and raised in the Panhandle. Was born in a small town called Perryton, Texas, and then grew up between Perryton and Canyon, Texas, which is just south of Amarillo. Spent most of my childhood there. My family is my father's from Juarez.
Okay.
And my mom was born in El Paso, so
all right.
Definitely a frontera family.
Yes, Juarez roots. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, and then spent a lot of time in the Panhandle. Graduated high school from out there, and took some time off after school, and ended up deciding to, after a bit of reluctancy, decided to go back to school and came to UTA. Studied
awesome.
At UTA, so that's what made me land here in Fort Worth.
That's cool. That's so great. So UTA graduate. Hey, everybody from UTA.
Go Mavs.
So Joseph, what is one of your fondest memories from your childhood?
Honestly, one of my fondest is especially in the world of coffee. I remember growing up, my dad would always go to McDonald's, and if you're lucky and sometimes unlucky enough, you could wake up early enough to go with him and get some breakfast at McDonald's.
Nice.
And he would just hang out, drink some coffee, and read the newspaper. You could get some breakfast from McDonald's. The problem is you'd be stuck at McDonald's because he'd be reading his newspaper and you wouldn't have anything else to do after you finished eating.
That's great.
So that was a lot of fun. Just growing up, especially even my first experience with coffee was going to work with my dad. He would be in the break room. He worked blue collar in the oil field, so okay. A lot of times when I'd go with him early in the morning, all the men would be in the break room or in the shop, kind of getting ready for the day, and they'd be sipping on their black coffee. And I would get a black coffee, and I was probably maybe 10 or 11 at times, and I would just have the cup, and I'm surprised they even gave me coffee. But I would just hang out there, and I would take a sip, and it was just horrible black coffee.
You were with the big guys.
Oh yeah,
so
exactly.
You were tough.
Yeah. So, but of course, after everybody left, and I was hanging out at the shop. Once everybody left and dispersed, I would rush to the break room and pour a bunch of cream and sugar in there just to make it.
So then it was like leche con café.
Oh yeah.
Not the other way around.
Yeah.
That's awesome. Those are great memories.
Yeah, those definitely. The Panhandle is pretty laid back. That's probably why I associate and appreciate Fort Worth. It's got a really laid back feel. Everybody's pretty friendly.
Yes.
And so there's a lot of similarities between the Panhandle and Fort Worth. Everyone just has a really inviting spirit.
That's how I feel too. Yeah, and we're chill.
Pretty chill.
Yeah, in Fort Worth. So I'm so glad that you're here. I'm so glad you opened here because you're close to me. I love it here. So what would you say inspired you to say, okay, coffee, that's the business I'm going to go into?
I think it was probably just long years of just being exposed to coffee. Mm-hmm. Like I said, with my family. And also, when you're in school or just hanging out with friends, you'd pop into different coffee shops. I remember one in Amarillo that I would always pop in called the 806. Really cool, kind of divey feel. Yeah. And really just chill coffee shop that I would even go to whenever I was at community college at Amarillo College in Amarillo. And I think we all just we gravitate and identify with different coffee shops in different ways, and I always loved the feeling, and I felt like I could see myself in any type of coffee shop. Yeah. And after a while, I remember, I think it was for a school project, but I was on the SBA website, the Small Business Administration website, and they had a cool template that you could download and basically fill out a business plan. And I remember I started doing one for coffee when I was, I don't know, probably just a little bit after high school. And I just started playing with it.
Oh, wow.
And so any other business idea I would get, I would just download a new template and fill out like mission, vision statement. I'd always get stuck on the financials because I still didn't really have any idea about, how to build out a financial business plan. But I knew how to make a vision and mission statement.
That's so cool. And it's like you came back to that dream that you had right after high school.
Yeah, man, I kept on revisiting
cool.
the business plan, and it was just, I don't know, it was one of those things for the coffee shop that I just kept on coming back to it. And after a while, you meet some pretty awesome people, and one of those people was my wife, and she was really able to kind of build out the vision as well.
That's amazing.
Together, I think we definitely came across.
So you're a power couple. The both of you share the dream of this place.
She's pretty chingona. Yeah.
Chingona wife. I love it. That's so good.
But she was. I tend to live in the clouds, and so she's an auditor.
Oh, cool.
By training and skill set, so she's really able to bring me back to reality.
Oh my gosh, you're so blessed, because I feel like that's one of the biggest hangups for small business owners. Like, we have all these amazing ideas, and then when it comes to balancing our books, right?
Yeah.
I mean, that is a make it or break it for a lot of businesses. So your wife being able to do that, it's someone you trust and someone who's,
Totally.
It's someone who's good at that. It's like, wow, that's like perfect recipe for success.
Pretty awesome. And I was fortunately able to convince her to to take the leap with me.
Oh,
and so
cool.
I think we're own worst critics. So I think we're still in the beginning phases of what maybe Casa Azul can be.
Well, you're doing great so far. And shout out to your chingona wife. What's her name?
Annette Landeros.
Annette, hola, saludos. And they're expecting their second baby in October. So congratulations to Joseph.
Pretty exciting.
Yeah, absolutely. So as a small business owner and a new owner, and starting out with something totally different than everyone else has, what would you say was one of your biggest challenges?
A lot. I think it was just a culmination of everything. A statement that I think always kind of holds true. You don't know what you don't know, and when you're coming up against different unknowns, like how to properly navigate city permitting.
Right.
If you're not really aware of how to approach it properly, you can make some honest mistakes.
Right.
And it comes with just that learning process. And so I would say everyone has their own kind of challenges when they're opening up a business.
For
I would say that was just one of the elements, and I don't think it's a matter of like challenges with maybe. I wouldn't characterize it as a challenge of being able to work with the city, because I think that within those, like for us with the permitting, it made a lot of sense, but the process was just learning how to navigate and fill in those blanks.
Absolutely.
So it was a lot of fun. Honestly, I actually appreciated being able to experience that, because now in the future I'm someone that I at least know how to come at it.
For sure, 100%.
And I know how to. I'll at least have that knowledge of being able to navigate for future plans, whatever that may be.
And you said it, I think, the perfect way. When you're starting off, you don't know what you don't know, right? So what do you think was like for you personally, what the fuel that kept you going?
Oh man, I think it was just. I think everyone can dream about owning your own business. Yeah. But I think once you sign the dotted line and we're able to so backtrack. Yeah. We're looking for it was all an idea, right? And if you come into a coffee shop, we have a little LED sign that says it was all a dream.
Oh, and cool.
There's a dream, but at the same time, you're navigating that dream. And for us, it was navigating a location. You know, where would a potentially where could we potentially build our business or establish our business? And so, after a lot of searching up and down, we were fortunate enough to run into the Castillo family, who were the owners for this property.
Okay.
And you know, after a lot of just relationship building, they were really just interested in selling. And for my wife and I, we were originally looking at places for renting or leasing.
Yeah.
And so the thought and idea of a capital investment wasn't really at thought, especially for our budgeting. And so we were fortunate enough to have a partner in Frost Bank that was able to help us navigate the potential for.
That's my bank too.
Who really helped us in navigating the potential purchase of the property. And so, like I said, the dream becomes a reality when you sign the dotted line. And now it's
you're like, we're married, we're doing this.
Yeah, and the real work comes. Well, part of the not the real work, but the work becomes when you're like, okay, now we have to start construction. So the dream comes into reality, but the reward is, I think, still returning. But at the end of the day, like you come to reality, like, okay, from the dream, now it's the work begins, and you kind of it gets lost in terms of just
making it happen every day.
Yeah, absolutely. And it just,
well, I love the fact that it's all local. Frost Bank's a local Texas bank, and then the Castillo family you referenced to. So everything is like everybody's coming together local to provide this amazing local place. So that's cool. It's super cool.
Yeah, and that's been the goal, just building community. You know, I think it was a long time coming for a coffee shop to open up on the north side. Yes. And so we're so
happy you did it.
Yeah, it was really, I mean, I'm not taking anything away from South Main, but they've really had a solid saturation of coffee shops, and it just shows, I think Avoca and Buongiorno, for the most part, they're partly center city, but there's a small few number of coffee shops that had popped up in Fort Worth, and I would say that the coffee shop scene is still in its infancy for Fort Worth. I think there's still a lot of growth potential in coffee, because I like to think of coffee shops as kind of your neighborhood bar or community spot where
it's the daytime.
yeah, absolutely. But I mean, that's partly what it contributes and caters to, is that community feel.
Yeah.
And that was 100% the goal.
Right.
For Casa Azul Coffee was developing a space for culture and community.
Oh, for sure.
Especially
and where you're at. I mean, you're at like the perfect spot, like you said, on South Main. So like you're coming into North Fort Worth before you get into the stockyard. So you're like the intro, like this is Northside, here we are. And it's awesome because it's like the Latino version of coffee. So I feel like coffee just brings everybody together from all different backgrounds, because we all have our memory of coffee. And I just love what you're doing to coffee here.
About 70% of the coffee industry is grown in Latin and South America. So with that comes a rich culture and history of coffee drinking.
Oh yeah.
So that was another goal for us, was distinguishing us from other coffee shops in a different way. And I think that was kind of a different flair that I don't think existed or has existed. I think I've ran into one other spot in Dallas that has a similar bend, but nothing in Fort Worth, and nothing that we're doing in terms of flavors. It's been a lot of fun. But I think the big goal is building that sense of identity, but also breaking the barrier in coffee, making it accessible and identifiable within the Latino community that is in Northside. Yeah,
absolutely. And before we dive into like all the amazing flavors that you offer that no one else does, I will have one more question. As a business owner, where you at right now, what would you tell the you when you first started that would have helped? If you could go back.
Definitely no regrets. I think even from like the smallest element that you can over critique yourself. Yeah. I think we had talked about earlier, we're our own worst critic. Yes. I think even now it's easy for us and me to look back and have a regret But I think just don't overthink things.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah,
for sure.
don't overthink things. Just kind of flow
we all
through, and
do
at the end
that.
of the day, yeah, just continue with your general vision, and
Yeah.
the rest will tend to fall in place.
Oh, I love that.
Yeah.
And I'm so glad you and your wife took that leap of faith. And then here we are. And I'm so happy. So now let's go into the goodies. What are the flavors that you have that separate you from Starbucks and anyone else?
Just a variety of things. I think our signature coffee, which is a café de olla.
Café de olla?
Yeah, it's traditionally a coffee that's brewed in a big olla or clay pot, and your family member would throw some hot water, some piloncillo, reduce it, and then throw a bunch of cinnamon and coffee, cook it, brew it, and then ladle it out. We've streamlined it a little bit,
Yeah.
just to eliminate any cinnamon pieces that you're drinking. But it's coffee brewed with cinnamon. And the goal for that was we made the piloncillo into a syrup, so that way people can have it as sweet or unsweet as they want it.
Yeah.
But something that's really cool and characteristically Casa Azul is we were able to put the piloncillo into other
Which
drinks.
is so good, guys. Because that is like the pump I always ask for in my coffee. Like,
Yeah.
uno de piloncillo, por favor.
Yeah, piloncillo and just a piloncillo latte. We sweeten our chai tea with piloncillo if you want a chai sweetened. So it really caters to just a variety of different drinks that we can.
And for those who don't know what piloncillo is,
yeah, piloncillo is just an unrefined brown cane sugar. So it's unrefined in characteristics, so you'll have a little bit of a darker color with the brown sugar, but it's also it's not just sweet, but it's also very earthy. So it has a really good balance in flavor.
and I think in the Latino world, piloncillo is like salt. Everything that's sweet, ahí le ponemos piloncillo and everything. So being able to experience that in a cup of coffee, it's so good. Yeah, so it's awesome. And then the mazapan.
Mazapan's a lot of fun, a little labor intensive.
Mazapan, guys, the little candy.
Yeah,
Remember?
mazapan it's a sugary peanut powder cake, and we make it into syrup. It's a little labor intensive because we have to separate, because it comes with whole nuts in it. So we have to separate the nuts and then reduce it back down to the syrup. So, but the finished product is a lot of fun, and one of my customers has just been ordering mazapan milk.
Really?
Which is because I guess they've been getting it for their kids, and it's eliminating any of the coffee. They just get mazapan and milk. And
Oh my gosh,
I
that's so
tried
cool.
it the other day for the first time. I was like, this is
good.
Yeah.
Can you imagine if we had that growing up? I'm like, milk, please, more.
Mazapan
milk.
liquid base. It's
awesome.
pretty legit. Yeah.
Yeah, and tell us about the tres leches. Everybody, Latino world, we all know tres
Yeah,
leches.
and it's made with the 3 milks of the tres leches cake, so it's a pretty original OG flavor. So unfortunately, we can't do alternative milks with it. So I'm just trying to keep it as traditional as possible.
Right.
Yeah, and then outside of that, the Mexican mocha has been it was really popular during the fall.
What's the Mexican
It's
mocha?
made with abuelita's chocolate, so you
Oh.
get not on the sweet end, but it's a little bit more cinnamon spice, so you get a little bit more of a chocolatey flavor, but cinnamon
Christmas in a
spice.
cup.
It's pretty awesome.
Yeah.
Another thing we came out in the fall last year when we opened was coquito, and we'll be coming out again.
Coquito.
It's
All
a
right.
Puerto Rican-based drink with
Yes.
with coconut milk and cinnamon spices and allspices. And we'll be doing that again. That was a really popular drink.
Is that going to be with rum too?
Rum is optional. We won't, unfortunately we sacrificed the rum and put some shots of espresso, but it's
Okay, awesome.
dynamite
So no
drink.
rum, but
Yeah, yeah.
espresso. That's cool. I'd like to tell people that coquito
BYOR in your own rum.
bring your own rum. Coquito is like the Latino eggnog.
Yeah, no doubt.
It's so good.
doubt, yeah.
So I love that. I think that personally, my experience when I came here, my daughter goes to TCU, and she was like, "Mom, you gotta try this," because we love coffee.
Yeah.
And as soon as I came in, I was like, "Oh my gosh, childhood nostalgia!" It was so cool. It like takes you back. You know, when you were little, for me personally, waking up and the house smells like coffee.
Totally.
And then just being able to see like different, like the colors, the decor, very Latin, very beautiful. So
Thank you.
the decor is awesome. Where did that come from?
I think within that same mission and goal, we definitely wanted something that is culturally Latino, especially in the spirit of how coffee is a part of Latino culture and life. But also, we were really fortunate that this is even a house, because a big goal for coffee, you can. And I say this about any coffee shop. I think you can have really excellent coffee, and I'd like to say that we do, because we offer a pretty legit coffee program, especially offering counterculture, which we can get into in a little bit. But even with a great coffee program, I would only say it makes up only maybe 30% of your coffee experience.
Oh yeah.
The rest is just in your community and how you feel and identify with the space. And for us, it's being able to offer a space for community where people can meet and gather and share in their.
I agree.
Share in the space together.
Yeah, makes it feel like it's yours.
Totally.
Yeah. So, going a little bit off that, what do you want everyone to experience, take away when they come?
Oh gosh, all of those elements. For us, it's just bridging that gap between coffee and culture and community. You know, from the coffee that we offer to the space that we provide for people to mix and mingle, and I've always thought of coffee shops as being a space of enlightenment.
Yeah.
I think they made their place in the era of enlightenment, same as pubs, where people had a space for free thought, and that's kind of a similar notion that we want Casa Azul to fill that space, especially for the north side.
That's cool.
Yeah.
That's awesome. Yeah. And personally, one thing that I see when I come is that you ask everyone, like, what's their name? Unlike Starbucks, where it's like, we want your name so we can shout out your order, you're actually having conversation. Like, you know your client, your customers, you know if they're in school, they're in work, you know, on a personal level. And I think that's always awesome in this mundane schedule that we have, where we're all so super busy, right? And we're just going, like kind of like Cheers, like everyone knows your name. Like, you can come into a place where you take the time as the owner, not only to serve the coffee, but get to know your customers. I think that's so important, because people here are happy. They're friendly because of the way you welcome. So I just want to add that coming here is like going home. So taking a break from all of this stress and coming home and being like, hey, with a friend, family member, how's it going? And drinking an amazing cup of coffee.
Thanks. I think that's always a goal. I think part of that is, you know, when you're thinking of coffee shops and Cheers, right?
Yeah.
You want a place where you can have that sense of familiarity, and that's what I think all coffee shops are always striving to fulfill is being that place of safety.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So thank you, everybody, for joining us. Thank you, Joseph, for your time and sharing your personal story.
Thanks, it's
amazing. Absolutely. And we will see you here at Casa Azul, because I am always here. And thanks a lot. Ciao.